Hey, so Grandson, the New Jersey musician slash activist, just dropped his new album Inertia, which means the tendency to do nothing or remain unchanged. And I feel like this record does anything but. I hope it motivates you and inspires you, except for the last track, where I really hope the last track, which is about a school shooter, doesn't motivate anybody to do a fucking thing, actually. I really hated the last track and the addition of it in the track listing. Although it puts you in the head of a school shooter, which is interesting. It's an interesting place to write from. It's just like, I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy being there. So where this record really starts for me and really moved me was Brain Rot, which was the first single. I didn't listen to it as a single though. I only listened to it today in the context of this album. And I felt like the first two tracks were okay to good. But it wasn't anything to really write home about. And then this track came on and I was kind of really blown away by what he was saying and what he was putting down. I loved this track a lot. Self-Immolation kind of reminds me of Korn in the intro, Freak on a Leash specifically. And it reminded me of Aaron Bushnell, the army person that set himself on fire. I'm not sure if I said his name correctly. And the self-immolation of him in protest against Israel. He did it in front of the Israeli embassy. And what they're doing to Palestine is, people are calling it a genocide. And it's very scary. And this is, I feel like, is talking about the story of Aaron Bushnell and his suicide in protest of the war. In Little White Lies, he says that Jesus was brown, not white. There's this common misconception that Jesus was white. I'm not sure what's the truth, honestly. I feel like it doesn't really matter the color of his skin, but the fact that it is always dramatized as a white Messiah is something that's interesting, especially given the context of where he lived. So, God is an Animal is a really good song. This was the first single I listened to from the record. And he gets a little blasphemous with it, but that's okay. I feel like in art you can do that kind of thing and get away with it. I do wonder if he believes in God, since he did mention Jesus on the song previous. I'm curious about his relationship with God, and if he has one. Bells of War reminds me that there's war going on. Yeah. Who's the Enemy gave me Rage Against the Machine vibes. I mean, this whole record kind of gives me Rage Against the Machine vibes. I really loved the ending of this track with Bob Vylan. Bob Vylan is another outspoken person about what Israel is doing to Palestine, although they had their visas taken away because they said death to the IDF, which is I think I understand what they mean, but wishing death upon other people is not necessarily what I believe in. But I enjoyed their addition into the record, and I like their contribution to protesting as well. I just disagree with the statement death to the IDF, I think. And Pull the Trigger is a school shooter song, and I hated this one. It sounded all right. The mindset, the mind space of getting into the head of a school shooter, pretty interesting. But yeah, man, just not a place I like to go very often, you know. But yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting listen. Overall, I'm feeling an 8.5 out of 10 on this one. Thoroughly enjoyed the whole record, minus a few spots where I was I had some nitpicks, whatever. I like the idea that he's trying to speak out on these very sensitive subjects, and he's taking a huge risk doing this, and it's an independent release and everything. I don't know. I just really appreciate the attempt at radical art, and I feel like he pulled it off for the most part. So 8.5 out of 10. Have a great day.